today's video, we'll be building this beautiful e-commerce website landing page. So we'll be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The most of the website will be static. However, the UI will be exactly like this, which is very beautiful. So without further ado, let's get started. Now to start our project here, so we'll be using our very own Kotlin online compiler. So we have a feature called Kotlin Labs, right? We'll be using that. So you can head over to kotlin.com. If you want to go direct, you can do kotlin.com/labs. So you can go here, right? And then you can just simply click on create on bottom right corner here. And then we can start building our project that is in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Currently, our labs only can support HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but if you guys give more love, we might add other tech stack in the near future. So you can click on full screen here to get a full screen view. Let's start our project. So here we can just type HTML5 to get our normal HTML boilerplate code, and then we can start building our project. So most of the project I'm just going to copy paste and simply explain because it's very easy UI with a very interesting take. So we'll be doing this very quick but very educational. So let's get started, shall we? So I'm going to copy the first code here. So the first piece of code is very simple. It's simply a div that says free shipping over 50. So it will be a small text on top of our web page that will just basically say something is over 50. The reason why I do that is most of the e-commerce websites do have it as kind of advertisement. The second piece of code we have here is a header. So this will actually be the actual header. So I'm just going to copy paste this, and this will be our header. Right. A good thing about our compiler is that you don't have to link any of the CSS and JavaScript file. It links them automatically for you. That's a good thing, right? Now let's go on to our CSS. So styling this these two containers here, I'm just gonna paste the code, and that is what it does. So explaining here, we have a div, right? Inside the header, we have a div which has our logo, right? Inside this, we have a navbar after that, and a header right? Inside the navbar, we have home, electronics, fashion, home deals, which do not lead to anywhere, but it's simply like a dummy links, right? It's basically dummy anchor tags. And then on the right hand side, we have our login, which also does not do anything. And then we have our cart, right? So the cart basically will be an incremental button. So if we add something to the cart, it will basically increment this variable here. So it will not be a full pop-up, but it will still be a kind of interactive component. The next thing that we have here is the hero section. So the hero section, we actually don't have an image this time. However, it will be we will probably do it from the CSS. So we'll just copy the link in CSS here. Give me a second, right? So pasting our hero section right here. I'm just going to paste that right here. So this is our hero section, am I right? So here in the code, there is not much of a code, but also I see some icon tags. So for that, we'll import our CDN Cloudflare font awesome link, right? So let me just quickly copy that. So this is basically a header link that will allow us to use font awesome icons. So it's basically kind of an online style sheet that you can just simply put it into our head tag, not header tag, and then it will allow us to use icons. So as you can see, the icons popped up for cart and the discount. So the hero section has an h1 tag, just basically says this text right here, shop your latest trends, again, dummy text. And we have a hero badge, which basically it's flexed and it says some dummy text right there. So that is how we made this. So next thing that we have to make is the individual section. So we'll start to make our first section, right? The first section that we have is the grid. So this will be a grid which will have multiple cards inside it, and the multiple cards will have multiple data right here. So it will be a headphone photo, watch, and shoe. You know how e-commerce websites have their own marketed products? So that is what we're trying to build here. Now for CSS, right? Now let's move on to CSS of this. So for CSS, we don't actually have that many. So let me just quickly copy paste this. So let's go here and simply paste it. So it's a very simple design. We have a tag here. This is new, popular, trending. We have an image inside the container, and we have some sort of content for that image. So going to the container, we have a grid which has 3 cards inside this. Each card have their tag, which is span tag, and an image for the container, right? And then lastly, it has a content, so just describing what it is. In this case, we have a headphones, smartwatch, and running shoes with their own little icon. So this icon basically is a link icon, but if you click it on, there's anything like nothing happens because it's not a hyperlink. So after this, we have another div, right? So going back here, we have another section. So another section is basically another grid. So this grid has the actual product with a listing. So this will be a section that will have all the products here. So if I paste there we go. So this basically explains the thing. So these both are the same as grid. However, these are mostly buyable containers, right? Though we still have to style these. However, so the way it is laid out, if you go to code here, right, we have a grid which basically says to auto-fit all of the containers, right? Minimum we can go is 220 pixels per fraction. So if there is only one, right, if there is only one, then it will just be one fraction. So if I just quickly remove, if I show you guys, if I quickly remove all, like put only one, it takes the entire space for itself, right? But if I have more than a lot of cards right here, right, we can basically say the minimum it can like reduce is about 220 pixels per fraction. So that is how it's done. For tags like the sale, we have done position absolute and put them onto the container. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple, similar to the above grid right here. It only has a different container. Moving on to the things, we still have to style the text. So let me just quickly grab the CSS for that. So if you go to CSS and just paste right here, there it is for the thing, right? So for the text and rating and plus price, that is style. So it just has flex and it has a whitish color. Also it has color for the span, rating span, right? So let's go ahead and start with another one. So after this, we have another section. So we are just basically dividing everything on section. So this is a dummy banner with a container and image tag, right? So if we come here, so this is basically a banner which has some image, also says few dummy stuff. Now, if I just get the CSS for that, I'm just gonna copy that, there we go. And then I'm going to paste it right here. So that is the banner. We have 2 section containers, right? One is div, another image. So we have flexed it, right? And each of the container on the left side of the div is basically stacked on top of each other, which is shop now button. Now, when you click the shop now button, what we'll do is basically increment this value here. You cannot kind of see it because it's stretched out. Now you can. So when you see this cart tree, says there are 3 items. When you click on shop now, we'll basically make it so that it increments accordingly, right? So we'll do that in JavaScript section. We haven't reached there. So yeah. So this is very simple, simple container. So next thing that we have here is the actual section. So this is basically a section that will give us the top picks of our e-commerce websites. So it's a dummy section with all of our sellers, right? So this is for our best sellers, and this is our top picks plus best sellers. So this is another section, mimic section. So I don't have to style it. I don't have to put any styling because it has the same classes as above 2 right here, because it still uses grid. It still uses the tag position absolute for the tags. Same for the image and the tags also for these prices, right? So the exact same as the best sellers. So moving on. So another section that we have here is very interesting. So this is a section that will answer our FAQs, right? So if I click on here and paste here, so this is our FAQ section, right? So let's go ahead and style this. We're talking about the container, like HTML component. It's very simple. Each FAQ have their own div with a on-click of toggle, right? So when we click on toggle, it passes this component as it is, and we're gonna put a function that is toggle FAQ. So we'll basically, when you click on this, we'll basically make it highlighted. That's what we're gonna do. And then we also have a icon for this, which is a chevron down, right? Like normally FAQs, what happens if you click on this, the answer to the FAQ pops up. So in our case, we won't be doing that. We'll just make it a little highlighted. So let's go ahead and copy the styling for this. It's a very short CSS. It only has 3 classes, so it'll be really quick CSS. So pasting there. There we go. So this is how we're gonna look, right? Again, I forgot to say, if you want the code to this, link will be in the video description, right? It will take you to the coding labs, right? Now in this, we are just going to make sure that so we'll basically make the code and also deploy it. So if you guys, I'm going to deploy it. I'm going to leave the deployed link in the description below. So one fun thing about coding labs that you can do is basically you can code and also deploy your projects instantly just by saving it, right? So next thing that we have, and the last thing that we have, is the footer. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to copy the footer. So this is the footer of our website, right? It has some sort of dummy data, which basically contains 3 div, right? Each with their icon and basically paragraph tag giving them some content. So I'm just going to quickly copy the footer CSS. If you go ahead and paste this will be very simple CSS. So footer has a background, color, flex, it just looks like this. Now we have 2 functions that we need to make for this, right? One is add to bag. So if I just search add to bag, right? If I just search add to bag, there you go. So we have one function that is add to bag, and then we have another function that will basically toggle FAQs, right? So we have to make these 2 functions. So for these 2 functions, what we need to do is we need a bag. So let's say the initial bag count we put here is 3, right? So we'll just put that. So let bag count equals to 3. So let's go ahead and make the function. So if I just put here, it's basically a very simple function, right? We have this function right here. When it gets triggered, it increments the bag count by 1 and updates the bag count value onto DOM. And then it says item cart added, giving you an alert message. Now if you save this and just click on here, it gives you an item added to cart. And if we go up here, the 3 became 4. We can check again by clicking this again. Now it was 4, it should be 5. There we go. So it's a very simple function. The next is toggle FAQs. Now for toggle FAQs, we'll just basically, when you click on this, it'll make it highlighted. It's just that, right? There we go. So that is it for today's video. And again, I forgot to say one thing. You can also save this image and share your project to other people. So you can just, let's say, do e-commerce website YT. I can just save it like this. It will get saved to your profile. So if you go to Showcase, Coding Labs, right? And go to My Library here and go to My Projects. You can also bookmark projects if you want. And if you go to here, you can see e-commerce website YT. You can click on it. You can also publish it. If you want to send this project to anyone else, you can just send it just like e-commerce website YT. If I press right here, you can also choose the category. So I'm just going to choose many projects and publish to this domain. Now after this, what you can do is you can get a view live of this, and you can just copy this to any of your friends or whoever you want to show it to. So Coding Labs gives you the instant deployment of your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript projects. So yeah, if you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Till then, make sure to check out our coding.com and Coding Labs, and also check out our other videos in this channel. So till then, see ya.